Welcome to Catholic Life, as we spotlight ordinary people with extraordinary faith. I'm your guest host today, Dean Nadow, and I'm so happy that you're joining us today because we talk about evangelization through media, and particularly Catholic radio. So here in our Diocese of Baton Rouge, we have Catholic Community Media, which one of their subsidiaries is Catholic Community Radio. And here with us is their president and general manager, David Dawson Sr. Nice to see you
Dina.
today.
Thank you for having me.
We have a long history together.
We do.
Gosh, it goes way back to the early 2000s. So it's a blessing to have you back here and talk to us a little bit about kind of, your story, your family, and your faith, and then the evolution of Catholic Radio now to Catholic Community Media.
Right.
So much for being with us. So tell us a little about your family first, because it's a beautiful faith story of you and your wife Lisa have been together forever, right?
For 42 years.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to be so proud that I remember.
Yeah, that's a good job.
I probably got it wrong. No, I'm kidding. It's 42 years that we've been married, right? We have 4. We say kids. You'll always say kids, won't you? Yeah. So we have 4 kids. We have our oldest daughter, and then 3 sons. And then lots of grandbabies.
Yes.
We are up to 15 grandbabies right now.
Gosh.
So it's been fantastic. Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, you and Lisa have been together for a long time, and y'all are just such vital members of our faith community. So talk a little bit about how Catholic Radio began way back in the little town of Donaldsonville, Louisiana, which is where we first
That's where we
met.
go back.
Yeah.
That's where you and I go back. Right. And really what we were doing was buying time on a little radio station. And I had a laptop, and I would do a 1-hour show, and I would go around and interview lots of folks. I interviewed you.
Yeah.
And the show was called Around the Parish, and we bought time on a little radio station that we found down in Donaldsonville, KKAY. And eventually one thing led to another, and it was like God opens doors. We could just see it happening. We wanted Catholic radio passionately in the Baton Rouge area. Well, this is as close as we could get. But then doors started opening, and we were continuously looking for a station in this area, in the Baton Rouge Diocese. So when we bought time, we eventually bought more time, and it just grew and grew. So we had my show, which was called Around the Parish. It was 1 hour long. And then we eventually put on Catholic Answers Live, right?
Yeah.
You know that show.
Mm-hmm.
And then another miracle occurred when the general manager said, "I'm leaving, and how would you like to run a radio station?" And I said, "Sure," which was, I don't know where that came from. It just came out my mouth.
Right.
And so I went home and I told my lovely wife, "I'm going to be running a radio station now." And she said, "Well, this is something you've always dreamt of." And I said, "God is good." And then I threw up because I don't know. I mean, it was just one of those yes moments,
Yeah.
But even then, one thing led to another, and doors kept opening. So in running the radio station, I was able to do more Catholic time, and then learn how to run a radio station because I didn't have a clue.
Right.
It was a do or die. So keep it on the air, keep it running. And so it was just everything was a trial by fire is what it was. And so eventually it led to purchasing a radio station, an existing radio station here in Baton Rouge, an AM radio station, and then eventually purchasing another radio station, recovering from Katrina in New Orleans, which is a huge signal. And now we've got a few low-power FM radio stations that cover Baton Rouge, and now we have a brand new one in New Orleans. So we're gradually going as much as we can.
Isn't that amazing? Just hearing the seeds of the evolution of this whole, mission of evangelization in Catholic media, and like sharing the good news of Jesus across the airwaves. Which is just so vital in our day and age now with a lot of social media too, which we're going to get into in just a minute about how you guys are moving into that platform too. So what's the time frame on that? From the beginning of Donaldsonville to moving to Baton Rouge? Do you remember what was the first year that the radio came to Baton Rouge?
I would say we were on the radio station in Donaldsonville. I want to say 2007, 2008, in that area, in that time frame.
Sounds about
right.
Then
we purchased the radio station in Baton Rouge 2009. Okay. And then eventually the station, one of those, you hear it through the grapevine. You know? And I mean, we know where it came from. You know? The one in New Orleans, and that was 20 2012.
Okay. Wow.
2013,
Yeah,
2012,
so
something like that.
now.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's been that way.
Yeah.
I mean, going from a laptop all the way to this is it's just been amazing. And we did this without a penny. You do know that, it was just people coming saying we have to have this.
Money. Yeah, and that, okay, we're ready to go.
Never had the upstart money.
We're just going to trust in the Lord.
That's the whole thing has been a leap of faith.
Open the opportunities. So how did the affiliation with EWTN come into play? How did that come out?
It's something I knew they had Catholic radio and they were evolving. When we first got started, they had quite a bit of radio programming, but a lot has changed since then too.
Right.
But I just gave them a call and I said, how do we connect?
Yeah.
And where I was working when I was running the radio station in Donaldsonville, we just couldn't because it had to be by satellite.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, and so technology keeps changing all the time.
Yeah.
So by the time we got the radio station in Baton Rouge, we could connect via internet with EWTN. But when we purchased the radio station, it came with the satellite dish. So we were able to get it going, which is an incredibly interesting story. If you have a minute for that.
We do.
Okay, my engineers are aiming the satellite dish, and one is listening to the signals that are going to come in. And you got to do it like inch by inch, because if you're an inch off.
Just like adjusting your digital antenna at home, if you still have that.
Well, there you go. Okay. And so they're doing it, and it's like, it says we have a signal, and it says, but I'm not hearing anything. And he's like, I think I'm not hearing anything. I said, well, let me listen. And I put on the headphones, and I hear a cough. And it's like, okay, I'm hearing a cough. And then I said, no, I think we have something here. And the other engineer is listening, goes, oh, no. Yeah, we have something here. Now, mind you, they're not Catholic, okay?
Right.
And he's like, no, there's something going on, but it's a whole nother language. And I put it back on. It was Latin Mass from EWTN. Like, we got it.
That's hilarious.
We have it. So anyway, we were really excited. And,
That's great.
And so we got that going. And it's, EWTN is 24-hour programming. Yeah. But what's important to us also is local programming, because, and we're trying, it's a lot of work. I mean, y'all know that here. And it's so important because of our Catholic culture here in South Louisiana. We live it, right?
Yes.
And we have so much to share. So we're constantly trying to put on Catholic programming, and so it's been growing. I believe we started the morning show, and this goes
way back.
Wow.
I've been listening to that for
I
a
would
long
say
time.
that started in 2010, a year after we were on the air. We got that going too.
Yeah.
And it evolved too.
Because it was at 8 o'clock, and then it got moved to 7 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
7 a.m.
Yeah, it's a great way to take your kids to work.
It is. That was the whole idea.
To school.
The whole idea, Dina, is because I listened to radio all my life in my car. It's just what I did going to work. And while you're listening, I just realized, oh my gosh, by the time I got to work, I was miserable. I was either angry or just sad or just something, because I don't know. Just people evolve that way, just in conversation. Even if it's funny, if it's humorous, it's just like, it feels like, I like to say your soul is sucked out by the time you get to work. It's like, okay, we can do this. We can entertain without being goofy. Right. But at the same time, at least we can give hope. Before you go to work, there's going to be some hope in your day.
Yeah.
That's what our morning show is all about. That's
and
what
I love the format of the morning show, because you start your day off at 7 a.m. hearing prayer, and then you go into the daily gospel.
Right.
And then there's most of the time a reflection or a saint of the day. And so what a great way to just kind of kick in gear, hear the word of God each morning.
Right.
And then go into hearing the faith stories of people that are shared throughout the rest of the hour. And then it continues on. If you stay on, you can hear, other programs that come in from around the world.
Yes.
Technically speaking, from all over the place.
Well,
so hearing that content is more life-giving than, hearing somebody's opinion about what's happening in local news.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And so much is going on locally. Yeah. We have stuff going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I would have missed it, so we just, because it's live every day, we're constantly giving current events. There's so much going on, though. Right. Especially this time of year, and then Lent is coming, of course, and there's going to be a lot more going on. You want to know where the fish fries are.
And exactly. And then it's invitational too, because not only is it serving the local diocese of Baton Rouge, it's also extending outward.
Oh, yes.
So you have all the dioceses in the southern regions
we do.
of
we
Louisiana,
have,
and then all the way down the Gulf Coast, Mississippi,
yes.
and a little bit of Florida too.
Right.
So there's so much community
absolutely.
out there that you can bring stories into, and we can hear what's happening in other dioceses in our area.
Yeah, that's
too.
true. Nobody minds traveling because we do. We cover the diocese of Biloxi.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And we're pretty strong down there. But boy, I love going to their little festivals.
Yes,
you know, the crab festival and such. And then home at Thibodeau, we cover that diocese too.
And the connectivity that it happened during the hurricanes, recoveries. You know, we could get stories coming out of home at Thibodeau and realize that there's more needs and more efforts to be made to help people recover from that too. So just multi-dimensions of Catholic Community Radio under now the new heading of Catholic Community Media,
right?
Which we'll talk about in the second segment.
Okay.
But just bringing all people of faith together, because I know you've gotten contacted by people that are like, I'm not even Catholic, but I listen to the radio station.
Absolutely.
You know,
yes,
so it's so ecumenical in that perspective because it's not just for Catholics, it's for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have so much to share. But the Catholic faith is so rich, and I have gotten calls and I have gotten emails from folks that's saying, I'm not even Catholic, but I'm really intrigued by what's going on here. I'm hearing things I didn't know were true.
Yeah.
And so I learned. And so what I thought Catholics believed, I was wrong about. And then they find out there's a scriptural basis to what we believe. And that's new. That's new to a lot of folks.
Right.
New to a lot of Catholics.
Yeah. So. Catechizing, evangelizing, advertising, you know, for all the events that are going on. Also like, too, that you have national authors that come on and talk about their books, which there are some that I'll be listening to it. I'll text myself and say, order this book.
Yes. Yes.
So I find myself, you know, really just learning more or things that would help promote the day, help serve somebody else. Say, hey, did you hear this interview on Catholic Radio this morning? And you send them the link. So there's so many ways that it's really continuing the mission of the church that we're called to do. And and so in our next segment, we're kind of running out of time in this first half. Our next segment, I want to talk about the new name of Catholic Community Media and what does that mean moving forward for evangelization through the airwaves. So stay with us. We'll be right back in just a minute.
We are the fog on your glasses. We are the cup to go at breakfast. We are the answer to your deadline. We are closing the deal. But more than anything, we are never being out of coffee ever again. Never. We are River Road Coffees, and we're ready to prove that our coffee is better than whatever coffee you're drinking at the office. Call us today for a side-by-side taste test so you can get powered by River Road Coffees.
As Catholics, serving the poor, the marginalized, and the vulnerable is something that we should all care about. So the diocese is introducing a new ministry, the Women's Giving Circle. Let's hear from Donna St. Cyr and Bonnie Mart, the founders of this new mission.
We are creating a community inside our diocese of Catholic women who are going to be dedicated to prayer and to sharing. We basically do three things. We give our resources, we pray to see where God wants us to use them, and then we bless other people by funding nonprofits anywhere in the diocese that are going to meet the needs of the body of Christ. We give, pray, and bless.
Through faith sharing, working together, and pooling our resources, the Women's Giving Circle promotes philanthropy. Philanthropy that glorifies God, empowers women, and calls us all to action.
Membership is open to all women of the Diocese of Baton Rouge. To learn more about how you can join the Women's Giving Circle, please visit us at www.diobr.org/WGC. Welcome back to Catholic Life as we spotlight ordinary people with extraordinary faith. I'm Dina Dow here with David Dawson, who is the President and General Manager of Catholic Community Media now, which we'll talk about why there's kind of a shift in the name because there's an expansion of mission. Speaking of mission, I wanted to kind of reiterate your mission statement, because I think everything that we talked about in the first segment is really captured in there. Catholic Community Radio exists to broadcast the gospel of Jesus Christ to southeastern Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, which we talked about. Through the use of modern communications technology, we provide compelling programming showcasing the rich Catholic heritage that weaves through Louisiana history. We hope that you'll tune in and discover how God is working in the midst of your everyday life. Which I hear that because when you're listening to interviews or people witnessing, telling their stories on air, all of a sudden a memory sparks or an inspiration hits. And so there are times where we're like, oh yeah, or oh, I didn't think about that.
Right.
So, I mean, I know you have memorable moments too of opportunities that people kind of have these epiphanies as they experience, listening to the station.
Every now and then we'll get a phone call. And one of my favorites I'll never forget was a gentleman who it was in New Orleans when we started with WQNO, 690 AM in New Orleans. And he was going across the causeway and just going, he was I believe he was a Baptist preacher, okay? And he was going through the stations, just thumbing through the stations just to hear something. And he came across us. And he's like, oh, no, hang on. I got to listen to what these people are up to.
Yeah.
And this is a story that he was telling me. And the more he learned, he said, the more I learned, the more I found out what I believed about the Catholics was wrong, or what I was told about the Catholics was wrong. And he began studying the Catholic faith. And then he was coming into the Catholic Church. And then he was beginning to study becoming a deacon. I don't know where he left off.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
But it was just thrilling to hear that somebody, because really that's what we're all about. We're not saying any other faith is wrong or any other denomination's wrong. We're just explaining who we are. Especially where we live. You had mentioned all of South Louisiana and our culture. I always like to talk about our Catholic faith as like a gumbo. I mean, it is complex. A lot goes into a gumbo, all the different herbs and spices and vegetables and everything. But when they all come together, it has a very unique flavor, okay? And you can't really, I mean, you could sit there and pick it all apart, but it's just something. But when it's really good, you're not going to just eat it yourself. You're getting on the phone, you're calling neighbors, you're sharing the gumbo. And that's what we're doing here.
That is true. That is such a great analogy. Speaking of gumbo too, I've been to several of your events, I've been to a lot of your events that gather people together outside of the radio station.
Yes.
So you have an annual fundraising event where you bring a chef in, which is so much fun.
Right.
And you get to meet people from all over the area and the region. And somebody cooks up a really good meal. And,
we haven't done that since COVID. It was Jam and Jazz.
Yeah,
and we bring
Jam
a
and Jazz,
celebrity
that's
chef in from New Orleans, and it is so much fun.
Yeah.
We have a blast. And then we're living our Catholic faith, and everybody gets to eat the food that he's cooking. So it's almost like a glorified cooking show that you see on the Food Network, but you're smelling it, and we're talking about the Catholic faith at the same time.
Exactly.
It's a lot of fun.
So many people there. And then you also have Catholic Man Night, which I had the blessing to be able to just volunteer at this year, where we bring gentlemen together and have a speaker and really open the faith up and share the faith with other.
Getting guys together is hard to do. We're bad at it. Women, you guys get together, no problem. They're always having, and we saw with what we have here at Men of the Immaculata here in the Diocese of Baton Rouge. Which is the men's
conference here.
Which is the men's conference. And I mean, it just grew like crazy because we realized there's a real hunger out there. And men do like to get together and talk. It just takes a lot to get us there, right? But then when we do, it's like I will share my faith. I will talk about my faith, And so we have, that was a lot of great stories. And we realized, hey, they still want to get together. This still wants to go on. So we decided to do that with Catholic Community Radio. And Chef John Foles has been working with us, and we put it on at his White Oak Garden and Estates and Gardens. And he puts out a big old spread. We have speakers that come in. This past year, we had Coach Paul Maneri, Alice Schubert retired coach, and they get up and they share their real life Catholic faith with other men, It's been fascinating. It's been very rewarding, and like we're beginning to gather.
Yes.
You know, it's
and coming back together as
yeah.
one. So it doesn't. It's not free, right?
No, it's a fundraiser.
Yeah,
right.
But no, just like running any type of station or ministry,
Correct.
Catholic radio. I mean, it takes a lot of technology, satellite opportunities, and liaisons to be able to do that. So, as far as like fundraising, what are opportunities that the general public can do to help support this important mission?
Well, a lot of when we first got started, and I think there was a lot of misunderstanding. Because there's always a formula when something Catholic is going on, it's done through the diocese.
Right.
And I even convinced the bishops, we are not asking for money from you, but because the first things these guys think of when I would approach the bishops with Catholic radio was, oh no, not another thing to pay for or manage.
How much is this going to cost?
Hey, that's and so we are strictly we're nonprofit supported by donations and underwriting. Okay. And underwriting's like advertising, except for, the wording is different and such. And so these are people who have businesses that are supporting our mission. And they're really supporting our mission. They're not in it for what they're going to get out of their advertising, honestly. They're supporting our mission. But they're really, people are calling us saying, what is the name of that CPA? Or what is the name of that lawn service? And because these people, and honestly, we've had, I remember a few restaurants in the New Orleans area tell me that patrons will come in saying, I heard it on Catholic Community Radio.
That's great.
And so they're excited about us. So once usually an underwriter comes on, they stay because they realize, it's important to people.
It has a reach too, but it also supports something, just again, I go back to just that term life-giving.
Yes.
Whenever Catholic radio was accessible in Baton Rouge, I told my mom about it, and she hasn't changed the little dial on her car radio since.
Great.
Or to listen to it in the mornings now, before they put on, the national news.
Right.
They'll listen to something local, just kind of get, that energy alive and have some foundations in Jesus too. There's also smaller opportunities for people, individuals, to be able to support too. I know you have your drive times, which are
we have a pledge drive.
Yeah,
we call them drive time.
And then sustainability, where people can give monthly donations to. You call that the coffee club.
The coffee club.
A lot of fun.
We want to make it easy, and so how we came up with the idea is, well, how much does somebody spend on a cup of coffee a day when you go through the drive-through at those places? And it's like, well, wait, what if we just did $1 a day?
Right.
And $30 a month is what the coffee club is. And so people will call in and they'll give us a credit card, $30 a month. We send them a real cool coffee mug.
Yeah.
You've got a couple, I think.
Yeah, I have one.
and so this is a sustaining thing for us.
Yeah.
You think $30 a month, well, that's no big deal. A lot of people don't see it coming out of their account. But for us, it really adds up. I know that it's coming in.
And people always want to know where their money goes. And of course, technology and and things that keep the lights on, I call it, and keep the sound going across the airwaves. But how, geographically speaking, I don't know if you've ever even thought about this number, but how many people do you think you guys reach through the towers, through the satellites?
We just looked at the population. We looked at the population, and we're talking about from, I want to say, almost to Pensacola, because I know that our 690 AM station down there does all the way into Baton Rouge, all the way down to Grand Isle.
Yeah.
And so we're talking over 4 million people.
Goodness gracious.
But that doesn't mean we're hitting all these people.
Right. But in addition to that, though, you have the stream, which is why Catholic Community Media is now too.
So we're worldwide, if you think about it.
Exactly. Right. Yes. So you're entering into this kind of new era of technology.
Correct.
In media. So how is Catholic Community Media expanding the reach of Catholic radio now?
We have an app for your iPhone, and it's free.
Yeah.
Okay, and it has everything, including you can view the morning show, on the app.
Yeah.
And then we have if you go to the app, you can listen to the Baton Rouge station, the New Orleans station, or what we call Overflow, and it's our music. It's Catholic music.
Yeah.
24 hours a day, and for Christmas time, it's Advent. It's Christmas music.
Yeah.
It's all on that, and that's 24 hours. So a lot of people are switching to that because it's a spiritual side, to that. And so we have that, and then of course we have the news on the app. We have a lot there, so that's grown a great deal. Our website is chock-a-block with information. So no, you're absolutely right. I've talked to more people who have said, no, I don't tune in the radio stations because I'm excited about the FMs, and I tell them about them. They say, no, I just listen to you on your app because that's not gonna fade away and come back when I'm driving or something like that. You're always there. Yeah. Plus, Dina, I know of some folks who live up north. A gentleman in Washington, D.C. was just telling me he works for Secret Service. But he's from Louisiana. He said, this is my home. I listen to you every day, especially the wake-up show in the morning, so that I can get a little taste of my Catholic faith and home.
Yeah, I do that when I travel. I'm out of town. Oh, yes. Yeah. I put on our local station just to see some local faces. Yeah. And that's true. That's the beauty of technology now and apps, and streaming. Because people can easily access that, through their phones or even through their computers too. Right. Then what I like about the morning show is that you can see the faces, of the talent that's on there.
And the priests, that come in.
And all the guests that are able to come on. So that's actually a really beautiful advantage because some radio is just pure radio. You don't get to see the faces. But with kind of the mixed media, you get a little bit of both. You get video, you get audio, you get to know those that come on each morning and welcome and open our day, and hear the testimonies of people from all over the area, which are just rich. So what's the future of Catholic media now? What do you see coming up?
We have relationships with Loyola, and they have a wonderful studio in the New Orleans at the university there, and we've been working with them. And so we have, like I said, we have a lot of talent all throughout South Louisiana that are willing to come on and share their Catholic faith. And so we're helping out. We're helping these people create podcasts. Okay, and then we're going to be airing the podcast very soon on Catholic Community Radio in the afternoons. But at the same time, it's their podcast that they can put on their website. And some of these people you are going to start hearing and seeing and everything. These are people and these are people that are very strong in their faith, and they teach the Catholic faith to our seminarians and such. And it's very exciting, very good. So in that direction, we know where things are going. There's always going to be terrestrial radio. Yeah. There will always be that. But we know that if we want to reach as many people as possible, we've got to use the web. Yeah. And we've got to so we're gearing everything, and we have been, but we're just ramping it up a little more, to where folks can just pick up our phone and we're everywhere they need us to be.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So for more information, we should go to the website or download the app, right?
ccradio.live. If you want to donate, ccradio.help. And of course, go to the app stores and look for Catholic Community Radio. If you're going to look for Catholic Radio, there's a big crowd of us. Okay?
And you'll see the heart. Yeah,
you look for the little heart.
Look for the heart too. Well, thank you, David Dawson, Senior, for being with us today. We're so excited and we're so grateful for the blessing of Catholic Community Media, which hosts Catholic Community Radio. So we look forward to more to come.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us on Catholic Life. Until next time, may God bless you and grant you His peace.